What up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mode. This is how far we get today in our Emperor's Children's Space Marine painting tutorial. Started painting up the lightning claws, even this bendy one. We start highlighting, shading, and re-highlighting the armor. And what else do we do? Oh yeah, the shoulder pads. We start covering them in flesh colors. We painted the eyeballs, so now it looks even cooler, and we highlight the black with blue. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned to get your Emperor's Children Chaos Space Marine up to this beautiful shade of pink, and we'll see you in the next one. Latest, players! Hey, what up, players? It's Warboss Tay. Welcome back to more Emperor's Children. Let me show you what I did in the last video since the last clip got cut off. So after painting all pink on the left leg and all black on the right, I decided to do contrasting alternating colors. So I took my Chaos Black and I painted the edging, all the rims of the armor here, all the way around the back. Don't worry about the pink, I'll explain that in just a second. I also painted black over here on the butt flaps, and then I took my Bugman's Glow and I base coated the edging and the rims of the armor on the right leg. So it makes alternating patterns. And then I started doing the pink armor coloring, and I lost that video clip, so sorry about that. Some other stuff that I did was I took some Balthazar gold, and just like I painted in the teeth and the grill over here on the chest, I painted the little teeth down here at the bottom and the little teeth over here at the bottom of this leg. You see these a lot on the old Possessed sprues. Their armor starts growing teeth, and I didn't want them to be real teeth. I thought Slanesh's mutations would be a little bit more pretty. So gold over there on all the teeth, and now let's continue. So pause for the video now if you need to go and do that, but the colors you're going to need for this next section are Pink Horror, Emperor's Children, and Carabird Crimson. Okay, the first color we're going to paint is Pink Horror. The horror. The horror. That's from a little movie called Apocalypse Now, starring my good friend Marlon Brando. We're going to paint this on all the pink. Oh, we didn't paint that bone. Yeah, let's do that now. When I paint, I try to do all the base coats first before going on to shades and highlights, because, you know, you never know, you might need to go back and fix stuff. Rakarth Flesh is the new base that I use for all of my bones that I paint. It's not really a substitute for the long lamented Deneb stone, but it's close enough, I guess. And once you've got shades and glazes going on the bone and everywhere else, then you don't really notice how different it is. Isn't that sad? I miss the Deneb stone, master. So do I, Igor. Thanks to all of you who've been leaving me comments and stuff on my first part of this video. I really appreciate all the feedback. criticisms, comments, like all that stuff is always appreciated. I ain't no heavy metal painter. Bless you. Bless you. I've been looking at a lot of the original heavy metal god, Mike McVeigh. Mike McVeigh, yeah, that's it. He's got his own painting commission studio service now. That guy he's like the guru. He's the original best miniature painter, or at least best Warhammer miniature painter that there was all through the 90s. Man, you look at those old models in the old White Dwarf and his use of just bright colors, designs, patterns. Some of it was like, how did you think of doing that and adding those colors together? Because they wouldn't make sense to the normal person, but he has a very, very artistic eye, and you can see it because he's got his in his new business, Mike McVeigh Studios. He's got a lot of his work from recent commissions and stuff, and you can really see, like, I'm going to be using some of his work for his Eldar, Shadow Seer and Death Jester. He's got not videos, but photos of some commission jobs he did using those models, and just really, really great balance of color, blending, color choice, the choices of which colors he used. Very non-standard, Games Workshop, Heavy Metal Studio. When you usually see the Death Jester model, that's the one with the giant guitar gun and the skull and the trench coat. He's usually painted all in black with bone as an accent, like the Oathway color scheme, which I don't really personally care for. Just like the Black Legion, black with gold accents. And so I never really got into Chaos because back in the day, Games Workshop would only kind of promote those models. The Black Legion, most of their color schemes in the old codex, you see, has those models, all black power armored with gold trim, and then every once in a while you would see like the Nurgle monsters, or Demon Princes, or Chaos Lords painted up in green, the red, because Khorne Berserkers are a great selling model. But yeah, mostly all of them are painted. Oh, and Thousand Suns is another popular one. But mostly all of them are painted in that black power armor with gold trim, and I never thought that was very interesting to paint. It's like you spend, you know, how much of your money on these models, and some people just want the quickest, fastest way to get them on the battlefield, but I always felt like if you spend so much money on your models, you might as well take the time to make it look good, unique, different, more interesting than the average. Ooh, mistake there. Yeah, because of all the detail on these models, you see I got a little bit of the pink paint on this tubing back there. That's fine. So we're still just doing our bases and base colors. If you're actually like me though, and you're not one that enjoys painting all these super duper bright pinks, then building up from Bugman's Glow rather than going to this Britney Spears bubblegum pink might be more your style. I know it is for me. Probably, if I wasn't challenging myself to paint as close to the Games Workshop standard of what these models look like, then I would probably err on the safer side of muted pink. But someone left me this great comment saying that, you know, the Emperor's Children being devotees of the Chaos God Slanesh, the god of excess and indulgence, and because all of their senses have been super duper heightened so that they don't feel anything anymore unless it's really, really sensory overload crazy. Regular pink, this muted pink wouldn't register. They wouldn't find it very appealing, so this crazy outlandish colorful pink is more, you know, pleasing to them. And some of the fluff, man, I was lucky enough to get my hands on a copy of Index Astartes, which is what I'm basing this little Space Marine original 20 Legions project after, painting them all up, and also talking a little bit about the fluff, doing little mini Fluff Hunter episodes in these videos. They're, man, after they fell to chaos, because they were all about perfection of form and mastering everything, all these techniques that they could, once they fell to chaos and they were all about you know, indulgence and gratification and self, you know, just debauchery and all that, then they were really, once they got to Terra for the final siege on the palace, they didn't really take part in the actual like heavy fighting where they had to fight against their brother Space Marines, the loyalists at the palace where the Emperor was. They actually did more terror campaigns on the rest of Earth, and they went to all these innocent and undefended cities around the planet and just went nuts, killing and slaughtering innocent civilians and stuff because they were defenseless and they could do whatever they wanted with them. So, man, crazy, crazy, crazy. I actually think that an interesting facet of the Emperor's Children is the fact that from the very beginning, because they only had 200, because of a freak accident that destroyed most of their gene seed, when Fulgrim was reunited with his legion after he was found on Chemos, and he was telling them, you know, there's only 200 of us, we have to strive for perfection, the only way we can fail in our mission is if we are imperfect, and then we fail the Emperor. They set themselves to such an impossibly high standard from the very, very beginning that it would have been impossible to ever be truly, you know, happy with their work, because they were always going to strive for this standard of perfection that they couldn't achieve. So some people have speculated that that was one of the reasons why it was easier for them to fall to chaos, because Slaanesh was whispering to Fulgrim and promising him perfection, the perfection that he couldn't achieve on his own. And not Slaanesh, but Fulgrim believed that humanity was the best race in the universe, and that it was destined for ruling the galaxy, and that the Emperor, although he didn't think of him as a god like some of the other Primarchs did, he didn't deify him. It says in the Index Astartes that Fulgrim definitely saw the Emperor as the pinnacle of achievement that you could reach as a human. And so I think that's really cool, because that means that when Horus was trying to get him to turn his back on the Imperium and to ally himself with the renegades, then it would have been a lot easier for Fulgrim to do so, because Horus could have said, look, you're never going to achieve this perfection just following the Emperor, because he's not here with us on the front lines, he's not fighting the good fight. He left the crusade to go build his Imperium from the safety of Earth. He doesn't deserve to rule. So I think all of that might have whispered to him, to Fulgrim, to help him turn his back on the Imperium. And the thing that I don't really agree with, the piece of fluff in the background that makes me kind of sad that they had to insert, was the whole thing about him being possessed by a demon sword. That's kind of like saying that Primarchs, even the Primarchs, they don't have free will. They don't have the free will to turn evil on themselves. That's like saying that if Fulgrim didn't pick up the demon sword, then he would have not been fooled by Horus's trickery. He would have stayed loyal to the Imperium, and that makes it more of a boring story to me, because it shows that, oh yeah, he is infallible, and it took something like a demon sword to turn him against the Imperium. It doesn't show the Primarch's basic, humanity. Which I think they tried to correct it in some of the later stories. I think I read a piece of fluff that said that Fulgrim, after being released from the control of the demon sword, was telling his Lord Commanders that, oh yeah, I knew what I was doing, I wasn't possessed like the whole time. Something like that. It's weird. I have to go back and double check the fluff, but I suggest if that interests you, if this kind of stuff interests you, then you should check out the wiki pages, the Lexicanum, and that actually makes the Emperor's Children much more interesting to me than just a bunch of crazy pink armored homicidal maniacs flying around the galaxy melting people down into space cocaine. Which is what they do now. They take people and they take civilians and they melt them down into drugs. And ain't no party like a space cocaine Emperor's Children party. That don't stop. Those are the worst kinds of parties. Oh, hello, Commissar. I've been to a few of those in my time. Mostly during my experimental days in college at the Schola Imperialis. Never again. Even Commissar Bane says that Emperor's Children parties are bad. Ooh, that's pretty garish. So now we're going to highlight with Emperor's Children. As always, we're sticking mostly to the edges, the raised areas. Trying to get to those the most. The outside edges, like here on the shoulder pad. Yeah, so according to Fluff, Fulgrim picks up a demon sword. The demon sword starts whispering to him, and that's how he begins his descent into chaos. So that when Horus finally tells him we're going to turn on the Imperium, he's like, yeah, sure. I've been ready to go, bro. Oh, in America we're celebrating Veterans Day this weekend. So we're getting a long weekend, so hopefully I can get a couple more videos out during this time. But if you're a veteran and you live in America or anywhere around the world, if you fight for your military and you fight to defend your country, then, or you've served your country, even if you haven't fought, but you've served in the military, then thank you for your service. My brother-in-law is in the military, and I was actually in ROTC as a boy in high school, so I really grew to foster a good, healthy appreciation of how hard our military works. Oh, look at my bendy lightning claws. So sad. So, something that I realized when I was painting up my pink guys was you can't be, don't be scared of the brightness. Do not fear the brightness. Because it's going to get tied down, the colors are going to tie down with, once we shade them. Just for now, they're going to, whew, this Emperor's Children color is going to seem just very unholy bright. I've noticed too when painting these chosen models that the highlighting for the shoulder pads is a little bit different than how you would highlight a regular Space Marine because, or a Loyalist, because they've got these lips on the edge. So what I do is I like to paint the lips and then leave the darker shaded, or the darker color, the original base color underneath, and then try to do a fine line with the tip of my brush on the inside where it meets the inner part. So let me show you on the top here. Try and focus. See, I'm painting in the inside. Whenever I do fine detail work, I like to brace my hands like this. It makes it easier for me. Anyway, now I paint the outside edges. That way, if you want, you can add some effects like feather paint from the edges going in, like this. That way you get a gradual fade of color rather than a straight line. Like for my regular Space Marines, like the Dark Angels, you will notice that their highlights are very, I try to keep them very stark and vivid. With the Chaos Space Marines, because their armor is so twisted and there's a lot of variation, you have to do a little bit of a different trick to them. Oh, look at that mode line. I gotta get rid of that. Okay. This is a great way to practice your highlighting too. So on the lightning claws, same thing, paint at the line where one part meets the next part, and then leave that darker shade in there and then paint near the next line. Segmented armor like this is really the best way to practice this technique of highlighting. Paint from the edge going in. From the edge going in. I'm also planning on doing a video soon on how to choose your colors for highlighting. And don't worry if it's not, if you get any on the black parts or any of the other parts of the model. We're gonna go back in and fix those soon. it's all base colors, so I'm always painting from the outside going in, or from this, like, for a piece like this knee pad, from the center moving out. So the edge of the boot like that. See how when you paint the little rim of the boot there, just at the top, rather than all the way down, you really get a good highlight effect. If the paint area is too small for doing the doing that highlighting only the outsides, the rims and the edges, then moving in, then just paint right down the middle. It's fine. I think the trick is you just don't want the highlight color over the entire strip of area that you're working. Highlight colors are used to pull the eye in so that the viewer, who is looking at your models, can see the depth between the highlight and the base color, the original darker color underneath. If you cover up the entire darker color, then you lose the focus. And you can really see how, oh my gosh, Igor, focus. Speaking of focus, you can really see how the Emperor's Children color has a little bit of bright, almost like a purple tinge to it rather than just being purely pink. You can see it on this side. It's got this vibrant purple tone. Because it's not just red. Pink Horror is a lot more of that red pigment colorization to it. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna fix some of the colors. I got some of the pink on the black areas. For example, like here on this lightning claw, you can see those 4 points right by the knuckles are supposed to be black. Stuff like that. I'm going to just fix it up, clean it up, and when we come back, we're going to start shading, and then we'll end this video. And oh yeah, I'm also going to clean up that mold line. It's pretty sick. Alright, and we'll do some shades, and then we'll end the video there, and move on to part 3, final highlights and details in the next video. Okay, we're ready to shade our pink now. So I shaded the left side because the left side is kind of like the test side of my model, just to make sure I have the recipe correct for the red, and I think I do. So you're going to take Bloodletter, and if you don't have Bloodletter, you can use Carroburg Crimson, which is a shade and not a glaze, but the glaze seems to work really well. You're gonna get it on the tip of your brush, and then you're gonna dip your brush in some water so that it's got the bloodletter and the water on it, and then you're going to put it onto the pink areas and move that brush around. The glaze, you don't want your glaze and water to be gathering in one area for very long. It's there to tint the color. So we're tinting the bright pink. We're tinting it with a little bit of red. But if we just did straight bloodletter, it might be a little too red and pull it away from pink, which is why we cut it with some water. And if it ever gets too red in any one area, if you're like, oh shoot, I did not put enough water, all you have to do is dip that brush back in some water and put it on the area, the offending area, and just spread it out from there. Just like that. Okay, so the pink becomes a little bit more palpable. No, that's not the good word. Pink becomes a little bit more. OnlineDictionary.com, quick! Igor! What's the word I'm looking for? Bearable master. Ah, yes, thank you. Pink becomes a little bit more bearable to look at. Ta-da! I've decided also, not 5 seconds ago, instead of doing his head like as the pink of the armor, I think I'm going to do his head in a flesh color, as if he's wearing this part as like a gas mask, but that he's exposing the top of his head, not his face, to the elements. I'm going to use some Cadian flesh tone. Kind of like the character Bane from that Batman movie all the kids want to see this year. I also think that's very Slaneshi too. Okay, so I'm going to use Stegadon Scale Green to highlight the black. Now some of you might wonder why I'm using this color and not like a gray color. Well, because we want to make the black look kind of like obsidian or a shiny metal. And the gray kind of washes out. Whereas when you use blue to highlight black, it makes it look a little bit more vibrant. I like to use that word. Why do I like that word so much? So stick it on scale grain. We're just putting it on the black, raised areas of the black. And it brings out all the edges. We're going to do this for all the blacks. All the black areas while we wait for the pink to dry. If you guys are interested, I think I mentioned in my first video I started a project log on Warseer. I think it's called something like Warboss Tay Paints Space Marines. You can follow my progress there as well if you can't watch the videos. And I'm trying to put all of my color recipes there, so if you don't want to watch this long rambly style of videos and you just want to see the you just like, all I care about is what colors you use, what colors did you use, then check that out. Looking forward to getting to this demon head on his left shoulder pretty soon. Soon, my pretty, soon. Igor. Yes, master. It is too quiet. Tell us a joke. What do you call a man with a rubber toe? Okay, I give up. What do you call a man with a rubber toe? Roberto. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, you don't care for the pink, Igor? No, master, I don't. It's not my bag, baby. Have you been watching Austin Powers again? Maybe. Alright. There. So as you can see, it doesn't really look like we've done anything unless you get up close and scrutinize the black. But, let me tell you that sticking on scale green adds a really nice effect for anyone who looks close enough, and it didn't really take it didn't really take very long to do at all. And it really makes the black areas look like expensive looking obsidian. Rather than just jet black. We're gonna go for the eyes now, and I think we're gonna do yellow. Lakeland Sunset. I want something that's gonna pop out of this background, and I think yellow is it. I really love how these little wires coming out of his mouth lend it a very Cthulhu-ish quality, and now with that mask, woo, very Call of Cthulhu. Okay, let's brighten it up. Flash gets yellow. Cool, look at that, that is awesome. Okay, I think those are those like little metal studs coming out of the side of his head? Yeah, so let's see what that looks like if we paint it in lead belcher. At the same time, you can go back and repaint over any of the silver areas that have gotten painted over. Yeah. Okay, so you can see these little studs on each side of his head. He's got little spikes, horns and stuff popping out of his legs, so I wanted to make those bone colored, so we're gonna use Rakarth Flash. See, like here at the left side of his leg armor, he's got those bones popping out. Should we also do that for the backpack? I think the backpack is fine. Yeah, so that looks good for now. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get to thinking about the two shoulder pads. They have growths on them, and we want to paint them up to be looking like he's got skin growing on his shoulder pads. So. How are we gonna do this? Yeah, this demon face. Let's see what it looks like if I've got Bugman's Glow. We're gonna paint it so it looks like the skin of the demon is stretched over the original black of the shoulder pad. I'd be interested too to hear how those of you who have painted this model, the one with the lightning claws, how did you paint the skin? What color did you use? It's like you have to have the black underneath show that it's in Emperor's Children colors, right? But at the same time, we're eventually going to paint these horns with Rakarth flesh, but there are some, it seems to be like the horns are shooting out of the skin, which is shooting out of the shoulder pad, or not shooting out of the shoulder pad, but the skin seems to be stretched over the shoulder pad. So we're actually going to go work backwards, paint up the skin, and then the bone underneath. Ooh, creepy. We're going to do the same thing for this side. We're going to make like, there is some skin stretched over the shoulder pad. Yeah, you know what, I think I'm just gonna spread the skin color all over, and then we'll repaint the holes underneath. I think that's a lot easier than just going around them and trying to avoid them. Okay, so our guy looks like this at this point. I'm going to use some Drakenhof Nightshade on the little tabard there to shade it down as soon as I can find it. Where's my Drakenhof Nightshade? And then we're gonna end it here. Let all this stuff dry. Stay tuned for part 3, where we are going to build the colors back up, like the pink on the armor, the skin stretched over the shoulder pads, the turquoise little loincloth here, and everything else. Oh, we should also get started on the lightning claws. Sotek green. This will be the last step, I promise. Okay, when you're painting lightning claws, you might have seen my lightning claws video. I like to start from the tip and work my way up to the base rather than the other way around. That way you don't have like a giant splotch of paint at the base of your claws. So, from the tip, and brush the paint all the way up to the base. Just like that. Can you see that? Focus, Igor. Yes, master. There you go. So starting one more time on this side, starting from the tip, working your way to the top. Tip to the top, tip to the top. The thing about lightning claws is that they have 3 sides, so you have to do all 3. If you forget one, it's very obvious later when you go in to highlight it. There we go. Ooh, nice. It's looking better and better, guys. Very excited. I'm gonna see if the loincloth is dry enough to paint Sotek green right back over. Yep. Got some on my grenade there. Okay, so I'm gonna clean up these colors and wait for this to dry, and stay tuned for part 3 of how to paint an Emperor's Children Chaos Space Marine in super awesome pink. Oh, we gotta do one more shade. Oh, I keep saying it's the last, but it's not the last. It won't ever stop. We'll do one more. Known oil is going to darken the silvers. So yeah, I was doing this yesterday and it cut off because I'm doing too much stuff. I think known oil is really going to help though with the Cthulhu tentacles coming out of the mouth. Otherwise it's just too bright. So even though Slanesh is the god of excess and loves bright things, we need to use this wash to dull down the brightness. Dull down the brightness of the silver. So anywhere you see silver, just put that known oil on. And you might be like, well, I want it to be bright because it's Slanesh. Well, the known oil really is going to, the job of it is to get into the parts where the silver meet the other areas and kind of blend the two surface areas into each other. So for the back here, you see the exhaust ports. It got into the creases and the lines and the recesses and didn't do too much to dull the surface. Of the exhaust balls. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for the next part of the video where we will continue painting up the shoulder pads, re-highlight the pink armor, or highlight the pink armor, repaint it, and also finish off the lightning claws. Latest players!